Why is Tesla stock down almost 5% today? There are a few reasons. Let's get through all of them as well as today's Tesla stock news. It is not all bad today. Actually, there's quite a bit of good. For example, ARK Invest buying more Tesla stock. The most obvious culprit today is the market. Everything today is down. However, it is not down a crazy amount. So I don't think it's just the market. I think there are a few things. If you look at Model 3 inventory level, it has been rising recently. It is quite normal for the inventory level to, let's say, jump for a day, like, for example, it did here as well and here as well. But usually it starts to come down, and it has not in the last few days. Model Y inventory level in the US looks great though, although the X is quite high at the moment. Inventory in Europe is coming down, although somewhat slowly, and I do expect more ships to arrive and dump a whole lot of vehicles, so we should see a few more spikes, but the market, I think, is a little bit concerned about this right now. This Reuters story, I don't think, is helping the stock either. The European Union is trying to convince the United States to ease requirements that electric vehicles must be made in the USA to qualify for the $7,500 tax credits, even as the two sides near a deal on raw materials, a senior EU official said on Thursday. We have been hearing more about these talks, but still, just seeing that, I don't think it is helping. I don't think it is making much of a difference, but it's definitely not a positive, I would say. Because there are still many people that think Volkswagen, Mercedes, Audi, and all of these German automakers are actually going to be real competitors to Tesla long term. So if they can import their vehicles from Germany, for example, then that makes it a little bit harder for Tesla to compete here inside of USA. If we look at sales in Europe for Tesla, clearly Tesla is going to be way ahead of everyone, but still, there are other automakers that do sell EVs in Europe. And if you go around Wall Street asking everyone, do you think that all of these automakers are a threat to Tesla? I think many of them will say yes. Keep in mind that in Europe, Tesla's deliveries really start to ramp up towards the end of a quarter because most of the vehicles, or many of them, are still imported from Giga Shanghai, and the factory in Germany is still ramping. So it will be really interesting to see how these numbers change as Tesla really starts to ramp. This Morgan Stanley note is certainly not helping Tesla stock today. I think Morgan Stanley is saying a lot has changed since Franz threw a metal ball at the armor glass window of a Cybertruck in November 2019. The truck is real, and we had a great time with it last week behind the Austin plant. But financially, it may be more of a sideshow to the Tesla story today. We regularly speak with clients who believe Tesla may sell many hundreds of thousands of Cybertrucks annually. We think it will more likely be an enthusiast / cult car. This is Morgan Stanley saying it will be a cult car with far more limited volume, closer to 50,000 units per year, with some design and manufacturing learnings that could ultimately migrate to the rest of Tesla's core lineup. Then Morgan Stanley makes this point that Tesla has gotten so much bigger now that now, even if Tesla supposedly sells a lot of Cybertrucks, which I guess they would think maybe 100,000 per year would be a lot, they are saying that it won't make much of a difference now compared to before, when Tesla was still tiny in 2019. Split adjusted, Tesla's share price was around $22. Indeed, Tesla has changed a lot, but Morgan Stanley's take about Tesla, it still is very interesting at times, just like it was extremely interesting back in 2019 in May when Morgan Stanley said Tesla stock will drop down to $10. This is before the two splits, so split adjusted 67 cents. Now, this was their bear case, but still, 67 cents? We feel the Cybertruck carries more value in cultural zeitgeist sense than in a direct economic sense. At the same time, we encourage our readers to ask themselves how many Cybertrucks can roll up to a parent-teacher conference or youth soccer match at the same time before losing some of that indescribable something. Sure, if you are buying it just to show off, when you have hundreds of thousands, millions of Cybertrucks on the road, it will lose some of that appeal. But it will be the best truck. I mean, I live in Vancouver, and when I go outside, I'm like, oh, it feels like there are more Teslas here than Toyotas sometimes when I look at parking lots. But when I see someone driving a Tesla, I don't go, oh, that's not cool. I'm like, oh yeah, this person gets it. This car is better than other cars. And Morgan Stanley here is suggesting that Tesla should limit the total production of the Cybertruck to 420,699. And while Morgan Stanley is forecasting that Tesla will deliver 500,000 pickup trucks per year by 2030, they assume that Tesla will make a more conservative looking pickup truck. Gary Black says that his research indicates that people that like the Cybertruck are under 50 years old usually, and the ones that are over 50 years old often don't like the Cybertruck as much. But Gary believes that the interest is there to have it mass produced. While the market is worried today about Tesla, if I look at the numbers in Europe, actually, they look all right. It is still a bit early to draw any strong conclusions, but when they're right here, it was looking like, will Tesla beat its deliveries that it had in the last quarter in Europe? And now it appears that it will. Still a bit early, but it is looking that way so far. We'll see. While Morgan Stanley is certainly making some people feel not as confident about Tesla stock, I would like to point out one more thing that Bradford wrote right here. Morgan Stanley forgot that in 2019, they said Tesla would at most only sell 71,000 Teslas in China in 1 year. Last year, Tesla sold about 10 times more. 10 times more. While Morgan Stanley thinks Cybertruck sales are going to look like this, I disagree. Here's another reason why Tesla stock has been going down recently. The total expected deliveries for Tesla in 2030 were 6.598 million deliveries. So really 6.6 million. These numbers are from about a week ago. But now the number has shrunk to 6.455 million. About 150,000 vehicles less. Wall Street is, I don't want to say getting more stupid because I'm a gentleman. I'll just say more ignorant. The earnings per share for 2024, though, seem to be stabilizing. Tesla is now hiring in Mexico. Lots of job openings. Meanwhile, Nissan just committed to releasing 19 mediocre EVs by 2030 instead of just 15. I think they should focus on making just a few, but really good ones. Nissan had the lead in 2011 with the Leaf, but they just completely dropped their initial advantage. It does not seem good for GM. GM offers buyouts to majority of US salaried workers. Tesla has introduced a new paint color for the S and the X. It's a new red, ultra red, they call it. Here's the old red, and here is the new one. I think the new one looks a lot better. This looks cheap. This looks, Tesla also improved the glass roof, which now weighs less and lets in 5 times more light with the same level of UV protection. This, of course, also improves handling as it helps low center of gravity. And then they improved the brakes a little bit as well. Here's another side-by-side comparison, new and old. But it's just a bit hard to tell the exact differences from these images. I want to see a comparison in real life where you put the old color next to the new one and have the two cars in the same location under the same lighting, filmed with the same camera, with the same lens, same everything. Then the difference, I think, will be more clear. But so far, I really like it. I mean, looking at these two here, this one, the old one, actually looks pretty good. But notice how this picture overall is much brighter, and here the whole image is just darker. Like, look at the road. See how it's sort of dark here? And look at the background also. It's a little bit darker here. Everything is super bright, so I don't think it really shows the actual real color of the car in this picture. And this is the Tesla stock buying opportunity explained by Elon Musk. My name is Matt Postis. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.